Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to talk about order of operations. So we are in your note packet, chapter 1, lesson 2, order of operations. Okay? We're going to talk today about evaluating numerical expressions. Please remember, numerical expressions often contain more than one operation. Remember the 4 operations we spoke about yesterday: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. We have a set of rules that we use to evaluate so that we can do things in the proper order. And I'm sure you all learned in pre-algebra the mnemonic, which says, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." So the P stands for parentheses. It could be any type of inclusion symbol. So if there's a parentheses or a brace or a bracket, those are all considered parentheses. So we do those first. The second thing we do is we take care of the exponents or the powers. The third thing we do is multiply or divide. And I want to make sure that everyone understands. It is whichever comes first from left to right. So if the division is first, then you need to do division. If multiplication is first, then you need to multiply. The same thing with addition and subtraction, whichever comes first from left to right. Does anyone have a question up to this point? PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Now, this is an important set of rules, and this is something that we will be using all year. Always follow this order. 3 to the 4th power. 3 to the 4th power. So let's just go over here and evaluate. Example number 1. I know it's done for you, but I'd like to work through it. 3 to the 4th power, or you could read it as 3 to the power of 4. Technically, what that means is 3 is our base, 4 is our exponent. The exponent tells you how many times to multiply the base times itself. So this would be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, or 9 times 9, or 81. So if you have a calculator with you right now and you'd like to take it out, and I recommend it that y'all get the TI-30X2S, so I'm going to teach from this calculator. If you have a different one, I'll have to help you later individually. So to do an exponent, the first thing I want you to do, once you turn it on, you should always go to the back and hit the reset button or clear your memory. And it should come up memory cleared. Does everyone see that? Memory cleared? Yes? So now we're going to go and we're going to hit, so on the TI-30X2S, I want you to hit 3. Then I want you to look in the far left-hand column, and it's going to be the 4th button underneath the second button. It looks like this. It's called a caret. 3, caret button, 4, and then hit equals. And you should get 81. Did everybody get 81? Yes? Good job. Okay. So that's example A. Are there any questions on example A? Example B. Okay, so I know it's done for you, but let's get some practice. Everybody on your calculator, 6 to the 3rd power. Remember when Mrs. Urso went to school, we didn't have calculators, so we had to know them all. We had to know them in our head. Yeah, wasn't that hard. What did you get, Ansley? Avery, sorry. 216. 216 is correct. Does anyone have a question on how to use this function? Yes?
Can I sharpen my pencil?
Example 2. 3 times the quantity, 2 plus the quantity of 12 divided by 3, quantity squared, and then we're going to end our brackets. So here we go. Let's remember what PEMDAS says. PEMDAS says parentheses, exponent. Does anyone see parentheses here? Yes. So what would be the first thing I would do? Good job. And we all know that 12 divided by 3 is 4. And then we have an exponent. So the next thing we're going to do, remember PEMDAS. Okay, so the next order would be to do what, guys? The exponent. And we all should know without a calculator that 4 squared is what? Good. Then we have to do, but Miss Arcel, I want to multiply right now. Well, you can't because you still have an inclusion symbol. In this case, that inclusion symbol happens to be a bracket, so we have to do what's inside. What's 2 plus 16?
18.
So we have 3 times 18, or our final answer is what, guys? 54 is correct. Sorry about that. 54 is correct. Does anyone have a question? Are you with me? Okay, so that was example A. Let's look at B, and then we'll give you a few that we'll try together. Three plus 2 cubed over 4 squared times 3. So I'm going to give you a rule when you have a fraction. Simplify the numerator first. Then simplify the denominator and then evaluate. Okay, so let's take care of the numerator. It's 3 plus 2 cubed. We all know that 2 cubed is what?
4.
8. 3 plus 8 is 11. And now we have the denominator, 4 squared, which is what? 16 times 3 is what? 48. Now you have to look at your fraction and see, can it be reduced? It can't. So your final answer is 11 over 48. Again, for those of you that are listening to this lecture, this is example 2B, page 3 in your chapter 1 notes. Does anyone have a question? Okay, so let's give you a couple to try. Is everybody ready? Yes? All right, here's your part. So let's go over here. You try. I'm not giving the ones that I assigned from the homework. I'm giving these. So you try. So you're going to, and you may use your calculator. And I will give you a minute. They should go on your work page. Yes, everybody look up here at me. You have a blank page to put all these extra examples, yes?
Yes.
Good job. You like that?
Yes.
Pretty easy to do. Okay, and let me give you another example as well. Okay, so let's everybody do example 1, A, B, and C. When you're done, just raise your hand so I know how much time to allow. Okay, I'll give you another minute so people can finish up. And we'll get some of you involved here. We'll let you raise your hand if you want to do one. Okay, John, you can have A, not yet. Who'd like one? Lauren can have B, and Kylan can have C. Okay, so John, what did you get for 3 to the 5th power? Nice and loud.
3 to the 5th, to the 5th power equals 243.
243 is correct. Good job. Lauren, what did you get for 2 to the 4th power? 16 is correct. And Kylan, what did you get for 4 to the 5th power? 1024 is correct. Does anyone have a question on the ones that you just tried at number 1, A, B, or C? Okay, let's try something a little bit more challenging. Here we have 16 minus 8 divided by 2 squared plus 14. I'm going to help us with this one because I want to make sure that you realize that you guys look up here and listen. You can insert inclusion symbols to help make the problem easier. So does anyone have a place where they might want to insert inclusion symbols? First, what might I put them around? What might I put parentheses around? Avery.
Around the 2 squared plus 14.
Okay, that's a good try. Someone else? Justin?
Around the 2 squared and the 8 divided by 2.
Okay, so I would put it
Divided by 2.
I would put it right there because remember, parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide comes before addition or subtraction. Question.
When you're putting your parentheses, when you have like 16 minus 8 divided by 2 squared, what about the negative sign? Is it negative 8 divided by 2?
No, that's a minus sign. So why don't you let me finish the problem here. Let's take care of what's in parentheses right now. We all know that 2 squared is what, guys?
4.
So this becomes 8 divided by 4. So simplify what's in parentheses. What's 8 divided by 4, guys?
2.
So now I have 16 minus 2 plus 14. Now my last step is addition and subtraction, and I can handle that the way it's written from left to right. So 16 minus 2 would be what?
14.
And 14 plus 14 would be? 28 is correct. These are the most commonly missed problems on SATs, ACTs, and upper level math because people forget order of operations. Justin, question.
On our work, do we have to show every step?
You don't have to show every step.
So we can do like 2 or 3 steps?
Yeah, 2 or 3 steps, and you can use your calculator. But a lot of this, guys, listen to me and believe me what I'm saying. A lot of this, I'd like for you to show some work and be using your head and use the calculator as a final checkpoint. John, question.
Shouldn't the negative sign have changed the signs inside of the parentheses?
Absolutely not. It's not a negative sign. It's a minus, and you're inserting parentheses. It has nothing to do with it. That's the same question that Abigail asked. Okay, let's try one more. And then I'm going to move on to the next page. Actually, let's go there now. So let's go to the second part of our lesson. So the first part of your homework tonight is going to be page 3, 1 through 14 all. Is everyone with me? Yes? So you need to be careful on things like 10 and 11 and 9 as well. Okay? Let's look at the second part. The second part is evaluating. This time, they're going to give us an equation. And they're going to use some variables as placeholders. And they're going to tell us what X and what Y and what Z are. And we have to substitute them in and then use order of operations. Remember, algebraic expressions may contain more than one operation: addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. They can be evaluated if the values of the variables are known. Listen carefully to what I'm about to say. First, replace the variables with their values. Then, use your set of order of operation rules to calculate your answer. So let's show you step by step what this would look like. So we have x cubed plus 5 times the quantity y minus 3 if x equals 2, y equals 12. Step number 1. Substitute 2 in for x. Substitute 12 in for y. Step 3, use order of operations. And then step 4 would be evaluate. So let's go ahead and plug in first. Are you ready? Yes? All right, so x was what, class? So this is going to be 2 to the third power plus 5 times the quantity, 12 minus 3. Okay. Parentheses, then exponents. Sorry. We're back on the right screen. So the first thing I'm going to do here, 2 to the third power plus 5 times 12 minus 3 is what? 9. We know that 2 cubed is what?
8.
And 5 times 9 is? And 8 plus 45 equals? 53 is a correct answer. Are you with me? Yes? Does anyone know how to do that on your calculator? Let's see if we can try it on our calculator. You have to type in the parentheses. So everybody listen. If you have your calculator out, you use the open parentheses. So let me show you. I'm going to show you what to type in. You're going to hit open parentheses. Then you are going to hit 2. Then close the parentheses. Caret sign 3. You with me? Plus 5, open parentheses, 12, minus 3, close parentheses. So let's try that. Let's see if it works. I said, let's see if it works. Wow. It works. Okay, a point I'm trying to make. How many people did not get the correct answer? You did not. How many people did get the correct answer? So you can't always rely on your calculator and typing these in, because if you make one little mistake, it's not going to work. So you would do it all over again. You have to make sure you put in all the parentheses. Do you have a TI-30X2S?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, let's see what else we have to show you. Your homework on this section, I want you to be careful because we're going to use some fractions here. Do you all know how to do fractions on your calculator? So let's go over the fraction button. Fraction button. So if I wanted to say A plus B, and A equals 1/2, and B equals 3/5. So the fraction button is going to be in the second column, the third button down. The fraction button looks like this on your calculator. Has everyone located that button? Okay, good. Now, if we want to just type in 1/2 plus 3/5, this is what you would do. Everybody listen. 1, fraction button, 2. And it's going to show up like this on your calculator, like a comma. That means 1/2. Plus 3, fraction button, 5, equals, and you should have the answer. When you have the answer, raise your hand. Good. What did y'all get? 1 and 1 over 10. How many people got 1 and 1 over 10? Good. Ooh, yes. Now the U on a fraction button means and. Okay, that shows a mixed number. So let's show you how to type in a mixed number. A mixed number. So if I wanted to say 3 and 3/4 plus 2 and 1/6. Everybody watch. This is going to be 3. Fraction button 3. Fraction button 4. Plus 2. Fraction button 1. Fraction button 6, and then you hit your equal signs. You have to do that because you're telling the you're telling the calculator that it's 3 and 3 over 4. I'll take your question in a minute. And we should get an answer. Okay. Yes, your question.
Wouldn't you be able to turn it into an improper fraction and then you have to do...
You can if you want to, but it's not necessary. Absolutely, you can do that. Anybody else have a question? Okay, go ahead and try it again. It's up there for you. Did you get an answer, Lauren? What did you get?
5 and 11.
That's what I got. 5 and 11 over 12. How many people got that? So I'm going to give you a hint, and it's a very strong recommendation. If I were you and you're using your calculator for order of operations or fractions, I would run the calculation 2 times because it's really easy to hit the wrong button or to hit something and then to get a really simple problem incorrect. Does anyone have a question before I finish up today's lesson? Question. The U again means and. It's telling you it's a mixed number. So 1 U 1 comma 10 is read as 1 and 1/10. Does that help you? Did you get 5 and 11/12 this time? Good job. John?
I have a question. So, what about if an expression is like 4, then x, y, z plus 9?
4 times x, y, z
Yeah, just like that.
plus 9?
Yeah.
Okay. So you could multiply, let's just give you values for x, y, and z. Let's make x -2, y 3, and z -1/2. So this would be 4 times a -2 times 3 times a -1/2 plus 9. So first of all, I hope you all know that these 2 negatives are going to cancel out, which is going to make my answer positive. I could pretty much do this one. This is an easy one for me to do in my head, but you could do this on the calculator, okay? But listen carefully. When there is a negative, you need to put parentheses with the negative inside, or you're going to mess up and get the wrong answer. Did you hear me? Okay. All right. Okay, so that concludes our lesson on order of operations. And remember, your homework is page 3, 1 through 14 all, page 4, 1 through 3, 7 through 9, 14, and 15. All homework is to be done on notebook paper or graph paper. Write the problem out, show work. You may use a calculator and give me an answer column. So you have about, in this class, we have about 15 minutes. You can get started. John.